Great. There's a thumb.
Hmm.
Well, here we go. I guess it's straight to homework then for you.
Oh
Uh,
man.
I know.
At least I don't have to do any homework.
That's what you think. Do it, Nick. Tell me. Describe and give the Tibetan for a reason based on the absence of a cause.
Hmm.
It's hard. I think that's hard.
Ki Ki Sen.
Not crazy.
Not really.
Let me see. Let me see in the chat if everybody's just
You
desperately
made a
answering.
talk?
Kimiki. Yeah, I was going to say that too. That's it.
Probably. What is it? Let's describe it. And then I probably did the yeah. We say Gume Mikpa.
Mamikpa. Cool.
Whoops, there's no reason for dong there. Um,
It's
I
the
mean
ant.
it's fun. Right, it's the and. Uh okay, so what is it? Somebody help me describe what that would be.
If there's no fire, there's no smoke. There's
Yeah, I go ahead.
to put it more eloquently, there's no smoke because there's no fire.
I think that's okay. What sort of example did we have? Do you remember? It was harder than that,
Consider the place in the east.
if only.
It's not covered in a raging fire because there are continuous shivers.
Yeah.
That's a result as a reason. So
Sorry.
reasonable. That would be an example of a reason which is contrary, a reason which is a result that is contrary. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the types of reasons. Maybe tonight we should do a review of that. Um,
Probably.
so I can't read Chinese, but I'm sure that those four characters are an exhaustive explanation of a Gyuma Mikpa. The example we had was that there can't be a, a memory, a recollection in the mind of someone who can't see ghosts um, because they didn't have an accurate perception of ghosts. Because people who don't believe in ghosts or people who don't have the ability to see ghosts don't have accurate perceptions of ghosts. And so that would be a cause that is missing that would allow someone to, you see, to have the result of remembering. That was the one we were given. I just work here.
So that
Proving
one
that a,
doesn't have anything to do with the lack of an accurate perception instead of the lack of a cause or a lack of a
that
result for that matter.
They're tied
the
together.
act, yeah, they are tied together. Thank
Hmm.
you, Adam, from the sands of Saturn.
Hmm.
Uh,
Coming to you live.
um, Yeah, right. They are. Yeah, as Adam said, in this case, the lack of an accurate perception in the mind of someone who can't see ghosts, like me, for example, can't see them, super doubt them, um, then I can't have a memory of an accurate perception of ghosts because I didn't have an accurate perception of ghosts. I think would be a
Oh,
simple way to put that.
so the
Uh,
absence of the accurate perception is the cause of not seeing the
technically,
result.
the absence of the accurate perception is the absence of the cause. Because what we're using is absence of cause, not cause. We're using the absence of cause as a reason.
And if you wanted to go, I don't know if it would be deeper or stay in more surface level. In this school, the you have to always go back to the Mckians and the factors, and it's usually the perception of something. It's they relate to each other in a cause and effect way. So the coffee cup is the cause of the perception. So the lack of a perception of coffee cup would be an absence of the cause.
All right, I'm going to show you something cute. All right. And this is since the cat's away, as it were. I don't know if anyone knows that saying, who isn't American speaking. They say when the cat's away, the mice will play. So let's do something very silly here. I'm going to bring this screen over here. And we can do this a few times just for hoots and giggles. This, I believe, is a wholesome use of AI. And all right, so let's see what we think. Okay, I'm gonna go to, let's see, I'm gonna get this out of the way. Okay, no GPTs, just give me this. Let's use this smart one. Okay, can you give me a proof for the lack of something based on, here, give me some proof for the lack of something based on the fact that the cause of that thing is missing.
Change the first the. Oh, maybe it'll understand.
Well,
So just remember
She's-
that each time you do an AI query, it costs about a liter of water that's taken away from the planet that can be used to drink with or feed plants, and a lot of electricity. Weigh
Hmm.
that against the answer it gives you.
let's see if any of these are used. Oh, I had some nice ones. These are not that nice.
These are all more scientific than philosophical.
Okay, I had some good ones. Give me simpler ones. Please. Maybe like orchids.
Oh yeah. You could also restrict it to the domain of like analytic philosophy too.
Uh,
Right.
I like
Totally.
cute little ones because because my brain is cute and little.
Yeah. Like a 5-year-old.
Now we're talking. Okay. If you don't plant any seeds, no plants will grow. So there is no there are no asparagus plants in my brain because there cannot be asparagus seeds in my brain. Cause flipping the light switch, let's, like, if you don't flip a light switch, then the light stays off. Oh, that's problematic because the light might not be working. But how about there is no I don't know, what do you think? Help me come up with some cute examples. The lack of a cause for, I don't have a how about a cold headache from ice cream because I haven't had ice cream? Or how about can we think of any other simple examples? We'll go on to the next one.
Those are pretty good. I mean, I think those are illustrative, sufficiently illustrating your point.
And what
Okay,
about
let's go on.
the smoke
Yes.
and the fire?
Yeah, there's no smoke
What about the
because
no
there's
smoke
no
and the no
fire.
fire?
Can we say
Am I
that?
muted?
Uh,
No.
No, you're not. You're just but your
You're
speakers
muted
are
now.
probably off.
You're muted now.
Uh,
You weren't just a second ago.
Yeah, you could say.
It isn't. I mean, the reason that we'd probably want to posit another example is because the traditional one of smoke and fire is usually an example of rangshin.
Right.
Um, yeah, right. Uh, right. But you could say there is no smoke on the mountain because there's no fire on the mountain. That seems okay, right?
Yeah.
That's how I
Okay.
started the original answer.
How about a reason you did? How about a reason based on the absence of what is identical to that thing?
Uh, um, there's no asparagus in your brain because there's no vegetables in your brain.
Yeah, I think that's not bad. Yeah, I think you're right. Give me the Tibetan first.
The asparagus may uh
All this time studying and you still don't know the word for asparagus.
Yeah.
How about the yeah, this word is a clue
Oh,
that only a logician would use in this peculiar way.
uh-huh.
Um, what word do we only translate as identity in the context of relationships and logic, to the best of my knowledge?
Dunchik.
You said it earlier. No, that's not the one I'm looking for, but you said it a moment ago in talking about reasons, Adam.
Oh, rangshin.
Wrong shin.
Yeah, Rangshin, right. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
chickpea.
Rangshin, say again, Paula?
Rangshin, I might be that.
Oh, yeah. Right. A reason based on here in this, we could also even do this if we wanted. Whoops, that's too many. Yeah, good. Right. A reason based on the absence of what is identical to a thing. The example we had was, to my mind, a little convoluted. I think you could say something as simple as there's no coffee cup on my nose uh, because I can't see it. You see, if it's the case of a thing where I should be expected to see it, we're in the study of
Yeah.
things that you should be expected to see. So there's no pot on the stove because there is an absence of a pot on the stove. No, because I can't see one. There are no pots on there are no, um, what would you say, sauce pots on the stove because there are no pots on the stove. That would be like Nick's answer. Um, but the example we had was there are no uh, accurate memories of a ghost in the mind of someone who can't see ghosts
Okay.
because in the perception of a ghost in the mind of someone who can't see ghosts is not accurate.
Mm.
Is not an accurate perception, which I found a little bit difficult.
Hmm.
Uh, um, we're going to go and look at the text and see if this happens. But it's the idea of proving the absence of something that by reasoning that the thing in question has not been seen by an accurate perception.
It's interesting. I spent a lot of time over the past couple weeks looking at the perspectives of the different schools at Rangrei, and memory comes up a ton in between Sautrantika and Chittamatra and the Madhyamika schools. And one of those, Jetson Kappa says that the the initial perception of a color blue and the memory of the perception of the color blue are actually the same. It's the same object.
Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh,
And this is
okay.
Tsongkhapa. Yeah.
He says
So
that
he's saying,
according to the mind only school, or he says that
no,
according to
highest middle way. Highest middle way.
That sounds okay
Which
in
is
middle
why
way.
which is why they don't, one of the many reasons why they don't accept Rangrek. Because they say you don't actually need a self-perception, because the memory of the initial perception of the color blue is actually the same object, which
Okay.
was weird. But I think it's one of the reasons why we see memory being presented so much in the second school. I think
Or to be
one of the
clear, they're
reasons
looking at the same object, right? Not to say
they're,
that
yeah,
the initial
they're
perception
yeah,
and the
totally,
memory,
totally.
but
They're
both
looking
of
at the
those
same object.
things
Yeah,
hold the same object, which this school would almost, right, would clearly not accept.
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But
Okay.
I think the reason I bring that up is because if I think now that I'm spent a lot of time with it, I'm starting to see why studying Takrik and some of the other stuff that's presented in the second school prepares you so much for highest middle way stuff. Because I see it pop out, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of answers some questions I've been having for a while.
This is thank you, Adam. This is hard. And probably no one who doesn't have extremely thorough notes has any hope of trying to answer this.
Can I share some thought?
Yes.
Please.
I think it's because during the process of perception, it trigger our karma. That's why I think what Adam said,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
our
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
the text say
If
based on our memory. Because
yeah,
what
if
we
you
perceive, actually, when we perceive the object, when the point we perceive an object, it will trigger our past karma. Then we start to process the information, how we perceive the object. That's why every person is perceive an object in different way. Can I say
right,
that?
I think that's right. I think that's right, Pei-Ling. I think you can say that what makes an object the same or different is the ripening of a seed. And so if you have the seed to see a memory of a past object, you can say that that's the same object. If you wanted to say that your image of the seed is changed or different somehow, I wonder if you could. I think you could also have the ripening of a seed that makes those objects appear different to you, which is how I could perhaps see the same person as having been unenlightened at one time and enlightened in the future, I hope. Let's try this very hard question
Oh,
that
sorry.
Sorry.
I think what I
Pei-Ling, you
said
have a
is
last
not
thing?
100%. It's not correct. Because
Oh,
what I say just now cannot prove that how our some memory that cannot change. We still have the memory that cannot change, right? I
I don't know
mean,
if that's true either. I don't know if that's true. You keep cooking it, Pei-Ling. I don't know. I would debate you on that. I don't know. I don't know if memories can change or not. If the way you see a memory is the ripening of a present seed, then you should think about it. You should think about it. But this is a broader question, and it's a good question. But at the moment, we have uh, uh, the problem of reasonings implied by other reasonings that are not explicitly or directly mentioned in our text,
Mm.
but that are implied in our text.
One
There
is the
were
presence of something that is by nature contradictory, like goosebumps implies the absence of heat.
goosebumps
Is
and
that what you mean, the
okay.
Rangxin Kelnik? And then
Yeah, yeah. But what about this one? So this one is suggested by the possibility of a reason based on seeing something opposite to what we deny. So the one I'm asking here,
oh,
which
sorry.
that's no, it's good. It's yeah, I think that's a Rangxin Gyalnik. So by the fact that there is such a reason, like um yeah, the feeling of cold is contradictory to a raging fire. So consider on that mountain to the east, there is no feeling of cold because it's covered in raging fire. Um, then uh, he said there's a, and I, it's not popping up in the chat, so I'm gonna show you, okay? Um, and here, I've got to move this chat window out of the way so I can see what you're seeing. Since we can prove the absence of something by showing that there's something present which is contradictory, okay, like a cold sensation amidst raging fire, okay, it would suggest then, okay, that showing that something is present that necessarily includes something contradictory to the thing we deny would also prove the absence of a thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of
they call this right a kyabje gelnik.
yeah.
Um, so uh, what was the example he said? Consider a raging fire uh, on a mountain. Oh, pressing down right on the area, a raging fire really pushing on it was like Numba, right? Pressing upon an area on a mountain to the east. A place where that is, there is no sensation of frost, okay, cold frostiness in that place, a snowy feeling in that place, because it is a place with a raging fire.
Yes.
So how is that? So what includes what?
I use the example. Well, I used this example before. If the room temperature of the building is 37 Celsius, it is not possible that the building is on raging fire because these two facts is both contradictory.
Okay, so consider the building. It's not on fire because it has, or it's not covered in fire. It's not filled with fire everywhere because it has an internal temperature of, I don't know. I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, like an American centric person, I'm gonna say 72 degrees Fahrenheit because I can't convert into Celsius. I'm sorry. It's a failing on my part, not to be able to convert.
Having lived in Europe, that conversion is the most challenging of all conversions for an
Yes.
American. We are severely handicapped in that.
You multiply by 5, subtract 2, divide again by 5, add 2 back again. I don't know.
There's some algebra in there too, I think.
Contradictory.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, I think that's right. And then, what would be an example of a way to say, okay, if the building is filled with fire, or the building over there is not filled with fire because it's 72 degrees inside. Okay. So what if we say the building over there is not filled with fire because it is, a temperature that is contradictory to being on fire or something? Does that include? I think we have to work on this one. I'm not sure if that's different than a Gelnick. I think maybe right. This is the example we had. If the if the presence of a raging fire on the east side of a mountain proves a lack of consistent cold in that place, then the presence of raging fire on the whole mountain proves the lack of consistent cold sensation on the east side of that. Does that seem reasonable? Cricket. Yeah.
It's a larger set. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay.
Yes.
We're all learning together. It's okay. Let's come over here. Paula, I'm sorry. I was sort of ill prepared on some level. Do you remember the last thing we covered? I think we stopped here. Are you following along in a place in the text that tells us where we stopped last?
We did stop at the place that you say that we stopped.
No, wait a minute. You mean here?
Yes.
Stopped here, 8:31. Look at that.
Oh,
Okay,
actually, I
cool.
don't know that we did. Hold on. Oh, yes, we did. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Right. And I was supposed to translate. And we've got a fresh verse, so that's fine. Let's skip the verse for now, and then and I should blow this up, right? And then we will come back and look at the verse after we get a load of the commentary. And if I forget, then you remind me. Okay, I made some Sanskrit notes for better or worse. Let's see. Pei-Ling, do you want to read this section here for us?
Oh, Ben,
Can you
can
see
I
that
ask
okay?
you first, what was your
Yes,
translation
Paula.
of that first line under the header?
The first line under the header.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Paula.
Oh,
Cool. Yeah, great. And thank you, Paula. Pei-Ling, you've been demoted to a smaller passage. I'm sorry. But we'll try to make it up to you in the long run.
oh, it's okay. Thank you, Ben, for calling me.
Please read. Thank you.
นางลงมามิแปรตักกีจุปังนี
Cool. Yeah. You're reading beautifully. Are you learning words that you're reading? Do you understand any, or only it's the reading that's become perfect?
I don't understand the word.
That's okay. That's okay. People can shout out or they can put in the chat. How about
Free of.
Yeah, good. What's Tsepong? Tsepong is short for something we're very fond of. Anyone but Adam and Nick can answer. Maybe Udpala can't answer.
Oh, darn, I was just going to. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I was just trying to look on the screen, but that's okay. Let's see. How about if you only help them, any of the three of you, by saying the longer version before we get desperate, because this language loves two-syllable words made out of bigger groups of words. So,
Sopapongwa.
Tsupapongwa. Great. Does that suddenly get somebody excited? Does that suddenly awaken any seeds in anyone to know what we're talking about, especially with the translation here on the screen, right? It's just a correlation game.
Debate.
Yeah, good.
Say again, Duoguo.
Refute in debate.
Yeah, great.
Refute any defense, right?
Yeah, right. In this case, I said refute objections, and we know this. Duoduo, why is this famous? This is the third part of a three-part something or other.
Pedagogical.
You don't have to know the answer. Yeah. It's a famous thing in debate texts. Right? There are three parts to a debate text and many texts, right? We smuggled it from debate texts into the greater yeah, Adam said pedagogical, right? Which means teaching method that we use, which is part one. Anybody?
You gave the first one away.
Yeah, got is short for Shenluk Gakpa, right? Rejecting, contradicting, denying the other guy's position, the Shenluk. Okay, and then that's right, wrong Luke Shakpa. Oh, look, it is in the chat. Who did it? Oh, ooh, Paula, that's cheating. You're already smart. Yeah.
They're all smart.
Good. I got so excited, but you're only living up to my high expectations. Yeah, Ran Lok Shakpa means presenting our own position. And then Supapongwa. Okay, Supapongwa, very famous. See, look how smart. Supapongwa means the other guy gets to come back. I always think of this when Geshe Michael talks about it. He doesn't talk about it anymore, but he used to call it the Terminator thing, because there's this great scene at the end of the movie, The Terminator, where it seems like the good guy, the good gal in this case, finally has killed the Terminator, and then suddenly, he's lying there in a pile, and suddenly the red lights come back up. No, you're thinking of a different part.
Jason.
Yeah. So the bad guy gets to come back and give his objections. Here's his objections. What are we going to do with the objections? We're going to refute them. So here we go. On what topic? Here we go. Yeah, what is this? Duo, while we're picking on you. What's a thought?
Thought is reasoning.
Deal. Mikba?
Mikba is something you can get, something you can some you can grasp as an object.
Yeah, right. Like generally means something you can see, but in this case, you mamikba.
Mamika, something you can't see, something you can't perceive.
Yeah, even though it would be nangrong. It would be wrong.
It would be appropriately manifest.
Yeah, sure. It would be totally appropriate for you to be able to see, for it to appear to you. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So we're on that topic, and then we're going to get an objection. We're going to talk about it. Oh, wow. All right. This is maybe okay. So now we're going to go look at the objection and the issue. We'll come back to the verse. Duo, why don't you read now, since we're picking on you anyway?
Okay, yes, sir.
Thank you.
sekje sholo kachiki dende kongdu kyalte mikbe
Yeah, good.
mikbe
Gyondre. This is a pesky prenasal gyondre. Yeah. Gyondre. Yeah.
gyondre mikbe takdu we changre gognu na megyu yube takle changre gogpa nugu.
Great. What's shepe? Shepa.
Shepa is to know, to understand.
I can be. This is Shepa, not Shepa. Shepa
Knowledge.
means closing quotation marks. Because we just had our verse. Okay.
My bad.
No, not at all. What's a tsikche? Tsikche is equivalent roughly to shloka, spelled here sholoka. But I wonder if this, what do you think? Should this be?
Suchipa.
What do you all think? Should this be like what's
Oh, I saw
sorry.
it like this in some, I don't know if it was earlier in your text or in someone else's text spelled like this, and I was wondering the same thing. Is this really how
Yeah.
to present this Sanskrit word?
I mean, the Sanskrit word is shloka, right? So I wonder, but I've seen this spelling a lot. But I suspect it's a corruption
I
because
mean,
you can't.
for if you're interested, like because we did like 100 titles recently of Tengir texts, and one thing that I could say for sure is that the Tibetans are not consistent with their spelling in Tibetan
Yeah.
of Sanskrit words. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, corrupted form of shloka. Yeah, cool. Cheek. Everybody knows Cheek, even Dodo, who's kind of in the spotlight. I won't pick on you forever, Dodo, just like through this one. Oh, good. Yeah.
Kevin.
Good. One shloka. So one shloka is it's gonna do something. Gi means it's gonna do something. What's it gonna do? It's gonna den something. What's den, Dodo? What should a shloka do? Yeah, deal. Cool. Do you know yeah. Well, how about this? Gongdu?
Where?
Well, good for you. That's fine. It means it's a little weird. It means like as above. Because we covered already this topic. Okay. A Gelndre Mikbe Doc. What's a Gelndre Mikbe Doc? Could be you or anyone, but we're picking on you anyway.
The opposite result can be attained as the reason that the opposite result cannot be attained or something.
Oof, oof. Yes, or something indeed. Right. It's a reason where there's a result that contradicts the presence of something. So smoke, for example, okay, is a result, a whole lot of smoke, or you could say, yeah, the feeling of cold, the physical sensation of cold is a result of being cold, okay, or a frosty feeling, getting frostbite, getting goosebumps, is a result that is contradictory to being covered in raging fire. Yeah. Um, what's dua?
Smoke? Buy
It
smoke?
is. Yeah, buy smoke. Good for you. You're buying the buy. Right. The S means the smoke is doing something. What is the smoke doing? We can peek over here. We know the smoke is uh
Cut
it
off?
it it's gonna gulk something, or it can gulk something. What's the smoke gonna do? Did you say, Jojo?
I said gulp means cut off or to block something.
Yeah, right. It's gonna block or contradict or it has the ability to block or contradict Changre.
Tongue reg is touch, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. You tell him, Drew.
Charma means cold, right? So it's the
Yeah.
sense of coldness.
Yeah, right. So dua, smoke, can, nu, refute or deny or contradict the feeling of cold. And then na,
If
if that's true, okay, well then how about a gyu,
the reason,
uh, a cause, like for
cause
example, may.
a fire.
Yeah. So if that's yupa,
If a
right?
fire exists,
Yeah,
present
if the
is present,
right, then can you use that as a dot?
and use that as a reasoning
Yeah, to go
to refute
drangek.
the feeling, the cold sensations, the present.
Yeah. Yeah, right. If I can use a result like smoke, okay, to deny the presence of a frosty feeling, um, then can I use uh, a result? Sorry, can I use a cause? Okay, if I can use a result, a contradictory result like smoke, if I can say because there's smoke, you can't be feeling all frosty, then can I say because there's fire, you can't be feeling all frosty? Um, Can I use causes just as easily? Well, let's see. I need a new victim. I need a smart victim, someone brave and who likes being abused vaguely. Let's see. Um, I'm gonna look at my participant list. Uh, oh, oh, too easy for Gibson, but I'm gonna pick on Gibson anyway because I need someone that I can ask Tibetan questions. So I'm going to pick on you, Gibson. Is that okay? Are you willing?
Yeah. Can you hear
You
me?
might as well, yeah, you might as well show off and read, even though I know it's no problem for you, because then I can pick on you from there about the language because I had a chance to study it before you did, which is my only advantage.
Okay.
Uh,
대단한 부신 유사 청력내 유배 치나 따뜻 추바jen기 땡칙수 때네.
cool, beautiful. Detana.
아, 대단한 if
Yeah. If what? If data.
if that is true, or
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. If it's like that, um, then uh pushing, pushing?
well, I guess firewood.
Yeah, right. Pushing, yeah.
Yeah, if there's some firewood.
Yeah. It could um it could if there's some firewood sar, sar? It's tricky. It looks like, but it's not what it looks like.
Oh, it's not
Um
new.
it's not. It's sa la.
Sala or the earth from the earth
Uh
or from place.
yeah, someplace, right? If
Mm,
there's um firewood someplace, right?
mm.
Then that should be able to show that there's trangrek me.
There's no sense of frost.
Yeah, it can't be cold because there's firewood.
Mm.
If you can use the cause to deny the result, then you should be able to say, since there's firewood, I guess it's not cold.
Mhm.
Um,
I don't get that.
and you don't get that. Who said that?
Oh.
Metal cutting.
Good cutting. If you can use a cause to prove the absence of a result,
Mm.
you see, then you should be able to use firewood to prove the absence of cold because firewood is a cause for fire.
You need
So firewood, say again, Gibson?
you need a combination between the firewood and the fire.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you do. The firewood has to be on fire. You need more to go on. And so we can use a contradictory result, but it's not enough to use a cause this way. And in fact, this is taught as a this takte,
Okay, this reason
yeah, is chopachen.
uh, is mistaken.
Yeah, it's a chopachen gitensik.
It's a mistaken reason.
Yeah, right. Dene, right?
Then
It's
you-
right, it's then, it's thought as being that. Okay. So, um, okay. Um, this is harder, but it's okay. Oh boy, man, I need someone else clever. That's okay. Let's see. Everybody's so clever. Too many clever people to choose from. Who wants to read? Can I get a hand or someone say, "Hey, me, I'd like to practice reading." I promise to critique you thoroughly.
Yes, I want to.
Thank you. Is that Tin?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Wonderful. Okay, read for me, please.
Yeah. Um, Mena shepe sikinupe metrang tre gope gilgamic tang tu we trang tre gopa giltang gyawe tre bu mikpa yishukla pangso.
Good, Tin. Okay, you don't get off that easily. We've never met, but unfortunately for you, I have noticed how clever you are. And so now I can give you a harder time. Mena Shepeti. What's Mena? And what's he talking
Uh,
about? Yeah.
I think that it is not the case.
Why does he say Shepa here? Do we remember
Mm,
Shepa? I know that Duodo is desperate to tell you if you don't figure it out because he just had an incident involving Shepas.
yeah, it's the quote. So the main is the quote.
Yeah, right. So with Tsik, you know Tsik?
The what?
Yeah. So when right the word mena, okay, nupa,
Uh,
uh,
need, yeah, it's ability, able.
yeah, it's able to do something. Okay, the words may not do something here. Okay, I believe this
Yeah,
is not checked. Okay, we're into just remember we're doing translation on our own here as a team, and so this is unchecked by the boss. But so I'm open to I'm always open to critique, but we're in uncharted territory. Um, uh, yeah, it does something. What does it do? I believe that the words may not have the nupa, the ability to what? This is hard. I think you go to the end here, um, to shuklapang.
Bang. Sorry,
Yeah.
teacher, I don't know this.
No problem. It's hard. We had this once. What about the Mega Brainiacs? Um, do we remember Shukla? We had Shukla above, and it kind of came up in the homework
Krupa
indirectly.
means to be
Ah,
implied.
yes. Thank you, Word and Utpala. Also in the chat, indirectly suggest or
Yeah,
imply. Um, Ni, Tin, you know
two,
Ni.
yeah, two
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have two more ways to be able to gokpa something.
to refute.
Yeah, right. Which I put these little numbers in. I think that we're at a total of 8 now. Um, 4 directly mentioned and 4 now implied. So Now how the word may not does it, we'll talk about it. Let's see what are the two that are implied.
Yeah.
May,
Is it
tin,
by the
the
fire?
good by fire. Okay, you can gokpa um
Trump.
Uh,
uh
yeah, you can refute the result of the code.
good, yeah, you can deny the result of cold with fire, and this would be a
And this
um
is the cause.
Yeah.
this is called seeing a the presence
Contradictory.
of a gyungel, right? Go ahead, Nick. Yeah.
The I guess that the presence of contradictory cause.
Yeah, right. Because may uh is a cause that would be contradictory to what?
To the scent of cold.
Yeah, right, to the result of cold. So like goosebumps. I think you could say goosebumps. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, fire can deny goosebumps, which are the result of cold. Okay. Uh, so then what about dua? What's dua and what can it do? What's dua?
I don't remember.
That's okay, not may, but dua.
Smoke.
Um,
Yeah, smoke.
yeah, good, good, good. Dua sa, as you know, can what can it do? What can dua do? It can gokpa.
Yeah, the smoke can deny the result of cold.
Yeah, so if there's a whole bunch of smoke there, then there must not be in our theoretical idea here goosebumps. And then that seems to be a um
The presence of the result of the contradictory uh, cause.
great. Yeah, great. It's the result, it's the presence of the result of a cause which is contradictory. The presence of a result, in this case, smoke, because smoke is a result of a cause. In this case, fire is the cause of smoke, which is contradictory to uh, the result of cold. So that's letting fire contradict goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how do the words may not imply that? I don't know. Let's go look. Okay, let's see now. Um, if we can look at the Sanskrit and the Tibetan here. I guess who wants to be a next victim? Can I have a new victim? Someone studying with
Thank
word. I can make word pick otherwise.
thank you, teacher Ben.
Thank you, Tin. It's so impressive. It's so exciting.
I like picking victims.
Great, please do.
Kimchi.
Hmm.
Yeah, hello, teacher.
Okay.
Hi.
Are you going to read the Tibetan or the Sanskrit?
Yes, I read the Tibetan.
Deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Thay thàng gheo hòa, di nhi gheo, mít phì, chơ hòa, gan dính thể, gheo ten, đắc nhi, gheo hòa nhì, mê nà, chun pa, chen dính nổ.
Wow, reading in verse, kind of showing off. Pretty good. Yeah, right. Um, so let's say Kang Yin. Um, anyone. You get whatever. Everyone should take a breath in case you're going to say it. But does anyone know Kang Yin?
Yeah, like what you just said, whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Kang Yin, yeah, Jordwa here. How about Jordwa? Do we know Jordwa?
The act to do, to apply.
Yeah, right. Related to yoga, even, right?
It's a formal logical statement in logic.
It is that too.
Oh,
You're right. No, you're exactly right. In this case, I think it kind of is.
joining.
Yeah, well, you see, prayujate.
再看
There's the
一下，
yoga.
走啊，
I know it's exciting, isn't it?
你休息。
Um,
But yukti means like a reason too, like in Nick's book, right?
it does. It does. Now, in theory, this is third person singular passive. So it's a passive, so it means like to be used. So mikpa, okay, is being used, I think, okay, and oh my goodness, wow, that is exciting. So let's see. So seeing mikpa agyu. Kimchi, do you know gyu? You didn't leave just because you read perfectly, right?
Sorry, I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. And anyone can shout it out, especially if you don't know.
Reason.
Yeah, right. Well, gyu is not a reason, although gyutsen is a reason. It's related to reason. Right, gyu is a cause. Screams the chat. So anyway, I said something like Kangyin, any sort of reasoning, okay, I said using here for Jorwa kind of, okay, but I think I said reasoning using basically words, so I'm trying to fulfill both of our needs. Using the mikpa, the presence of a cause, of yeah, of that which is contradictory, is a chopachen.
Oh, mistaken. We got that part. Yay.
Yeah, good. Mena, because here,
Oh, if it's
gawa
not
ni
there,
mena.
then it is mistaken.
Yeah, what's not there?
Well, whatever it is that they don't go.
Yeah, well, Gelwani, well, the Gyutsen, okay, that any such like Gyutsen, a Gyutsen dot, okay, reasons, okay, like that, if they are missing Gelwa-ness.
If they don't have a contradiction.
Good, Jin, yeah, right. Yeah, if they don't have a contradiction. For example, what? What's the example? What's an
The
example
example
of a Gyu
fire
that
and
is
cold.
No, those do have contradiction. Fire and cold do have contradiction, but we had an example of a gyu which did not have Goa.
Firewood and coldness?
Yeah, good dog. Oh, yeah, great. Firewood. And on that note, let's see if this has any meaningful implications to our lives. Sorry, Nick. I know you were squinting hard. Yeah, it's suddenly as soon as you were high lit, I could see how hard you were squinting at the screen that I took away.
My responsibility to get some glasses.
Oh, it's good. I let me know if you need a good guy for that.
Unfortunately.
What do we think? Somebody have some ideas, something that this is hard. It's so hard. It feels so abstract. Um, anyone have some thoughts on any way any of this is useful, before I try to wax poetically on the fly?
Well,
Um,
mistaken
go,
mistaken states of mind can't be present with, let's say, correct evaluations of reality, right? So,
yeah,
um, understanding where something, trying to understand where something's coming from, could displace the wrong idea that it's coming from its own side.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
The two ideas are contradictory, right? For
Is
something to
there
be
any,
self-existent and then for something
yeah,
to be coming from my karma are contradictory.
yeah, they're contradictory. Right. That's right. So how can we prove the lack? How many different ways can we prove? I wonder if we can prove the lack of a husband in the kitchen. Um, how about
And
this? Okay, how about this? All right, I'm gonna try something weird here. Um, here. Uh, we've had, I think, 8 so far. All right. So let's do, okay. Can we prove the lack of a husband in the kitchen using a Rangshinggelmik, the fact that there's something contradictory there to there being what kind of a self-existent husband in the kitchen, a husband that is there yelling at you for no reason.
mhm.
Um, what's a thing that's contradictory to that?
A husband who's there, a wife who's there because you were yelling at your kids last week.
An existing thing would be contradictory
Husband
to that.
yelling at me
A
for
pen could
no
be
reason.
contradictory to that.
Uh-huh. Isn't there. Uh-huh. Because there is here a let's say in the kitchen to the east. Just kidding. Um uh, uh there is no husband yelling at me for no reason. Um because
Well, wait a minute. Isn't this something we should be able to see?
uh
Is a non-existent thing something we should be able to see?
um if he were there, right? We're talking about a lack, right? So it's the lack of something that would appear. And so self-existent things, since they appear the same way to everybody, I think I can get away with saying, yes, it should appear. So what would be a thing, okay, whose existence would be contradictory to the presence? How about there's
To,
no husband yelling at me? Go ahead.
to somebody who's not totally enlightened. Yeah.
How about in the kitchen to the east, there's no husband yelling at me for no reason because um
Uh, yeah, because there's a husband who's in the kitchen who's yelling because I yelled at my kids last week.
yeah, husband there uh
Mm.
yelling because I yelled at my kids last week. I like it.
Yes.
Okay, boy, we could use a better rap feature, but that's okay. That's my fault. Let's try this. Uh oh, this I wrote the same thing. This is contradictory identity, but this shouldn't be. This should be a contradictory result. Okay, let's see. Um,
Oh, In the kitchen to the east, there's hold on, yeah. Because there's on because yeah, totally. Hold on.
What would be a result of a husband yelling because I yelled at my kids last week?
Well, kind of the reason I got a little gummed up is because it would appear that we could use the same reasoning again. And I was trying to think of some way to rephrase it, but it appears that it may work here too.
Is that a
That
result?
wouldn't be a problem, right? Because a result is a thing. A thing isn't necessarily result, but result is a thing. That's fine.
Yeah,
Because
so it should
you
go ahead. Yeah, Haley.
Because if you argue that you're not yelling at anybody at all, you will not yell by your husband today.
Say again. I'm sorry, Palin. I didn't quite catch it.
Because if you say that you're not yelling at anybody at all, you will not get the result yelling by your husband today.
Yeah, right. How about this?
This proof a
Let's see.
contradictory of result.
Yeah, right. In a kitchen. Yeah, right. How about this? In the place where I stand. Uh-huh. There is no one being yelled at for no reason. Because I yeah, how about in the place where I am being yelled at? There is no one being yelled at. In the place where I'm being yelled at, there is no one being yelled at for no reason because I am being yelled at.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Impossible. I couldn't get yelled at causelessly. It's not a thing. How about this? Okay. Oh, a contradictory. Sorry. This is, and these were notes I wrote to myself. Okay, so they're wrong. I didn't write these for you. I just grabbed them because I thought an exercise would be good. But this is there is there is no pause present. Okay. So yeah, what do you think? There's no husband in the kitchen is right. We could say in the kitchen.
There's no husband in the kitchen yelling at me because I haven't yelled at anybody.
There's saying there's a complacent husband in the kitchen.
I want to say for no reason. How about this? I mean, there's no in the kitchen, there's no husband yelling at me.
If there is no me yelling at a kid last week?
Because there's no me yelling at a kid last week. That's good. I think that's good. I want to try to and the reason I want to phrase it this way is because I want to talk myself out of believing in my yelling wife yelling at me because of bad traffic. How about that? Because Kendra's always yelling at me. If you know Kendra, ooh, she doesn't yell. But we'll pretend. in the kitchen, there's no husband yelling at me because of bad traffic. Because let's see.
Bad traffic's not my fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I want to somehow how would we phrase this in a way that points out that bad traffic by itself can't cause the husband to yell?
Because he works from home. He works from home.
That's a good one. I like that.
Okay, great. Fine. Well, I'll take it. Right. That's fine. I don't know if that breaks the chains of my delusion, but it's airtight.
Could you say something as simple as, because I understand how reality works?
I guess as long as I'm doing it in the kitchen.
You probably want a couple steps in there to make that.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. As long as yeah, there's no husband, yeah, because yeah, it would be something cutting like because there is no one in right there who traffic could cause to yell at me.
Yeah.
No, this is
explicit.
This one I'm struggling with a little bit, but let's see. There's no husband yelling at me because of bad traffic because this is a rangshim mamikbe dak. Okay, meaning just like I think just like the thing itself is no, I'm going to keep my question.
Because I'm single.
Yeah, right. Because
all.
There is no husband in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's airtight. seems reasonable enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A good example.
A thing that includes a contradictory thing.
Yeah. What's the difference?
I don't know.
It has to do with set size.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, but isn't that already contradictory? This is what's hard for me. It does have to do with set size.
Yeah,
I think.
get it.
Did I already do this? Is this already this? Is this also a kyabje gelmik?
I would go with
this?
I would go with what Mike Hoffman said in the chat as more of a.
Oh, good, Mike. I didn't see the chat. I'm sorry, it's hard to balance all these.
I don't know if that addresses the.
Save me, Mike.
I don't know if that addresses the set size thing.
Oh,
because there is a kitchen.
It's not yelling. That's good.
Because there is a kitchen because we are in a kitchen with a husband that is not yelling or something.
That might be well, you could have a yelling husband and a not yelling husband.
Yeah.
I guess he'd have to be standing in the same place. It depends on the size of the kitchen and frankly the size of the husband.
Well, and whether it's a dinner party and there are a whole bunch of couples there, so there are lots of husbands around.
It's good. It's enough. I'm gonna stop there. That's the idea. We're just trying to talk ourselves out of delusion and find different ways to do it. And doing it with friends is more fun than doing it alone and helpful.
Nice try, anyway.
That wasn't the strongest vote of confidence I've ever had in my
life. No,
life.
you were great. I just mean nice try getting me out of delusion.
Oh. Okay.
I totally took it the other way.
Juan, are you yeah, right. I was so hurt, Nick. But
Always the
it's
case with
okay.
us.
Hi, Juan.
Hello, Ben, Nick.
Hey,
How are you doing?
still in delusion, but not because of Ben's class.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite get out of it.
Yeah, I had the great chance to see Nick Lachaud live after a few years that I haven't seen you. He came to visit Arizona. It was wonderful. As many of you may know, these days, DSCU is having a program, an event. They are celebrating their 2nd anniversary. And one of the openings for that was like a big concert with Geshe Michael's band, where Nick Lachaud was one of the guitar players, and it was just so fun. And yeah, I have a little picture of the events. I mean, this is just like a poster to honor the DSCU event that I'm talking about, that it's happening just now these days here in Sedona. And it keeps going. Just a few days ago, maybe some of you were lucky enough to be able to watch some of Geshe-la's classes during this event. They are very, very wonderful. The event keeps going, and actually they are going next to have some sessions and very exciting on-sites, almost I would say like pilgrimage or something, in the sense of visiting special places. They're going to be going to Princeton, and they're going to be going to Andine Diamond building and things like that. So it's just letting you know what's happening. Geshe-la may be flying tomorrow with our friend Rob Haggerty, and they're going to have like a wonderful 5 days, 1 week sessions, part of the DSCU program there in New York and New Jersey. So just letting you know what's happening. Today, Geshe-la needed a day off to take care of some personal businesses or activities, but it's wonderful we had the chance to still get together, still review the books. It's also a great time for, as my personal take, that the translators have a chance to practice and to see how much they can do helping each other. So that's also fun and exciting. Just a little bit of context of what's happening these days. After DSEU, the next big event that I'm aware of is going to be happening in Diamond Mountain. Geshe Michael is going to be teaching there. Of course, there is a set of teachings that is happening from the 6th to the 11th with our friend Gielse. And then Geshe Michael is going to be teaching in Diamond Mountain from the 11th to the 20th. Then, as far as I know, there is going to be some Sedona College international management things happening in the meantime of the last part of October, if I remember correctly. And then in November, Geshe Michael will be teaching the Hatha Yoga Pradipika chapter 4, also from Sedona in the Sedona College. And then, of course, a little after that, the Kyoto event is happening. Very, very exciting. Probably still good time to plan for that if you haven't figured it out, but if you can, Kyoto is going to be awesome. Along with this event in Japan from the 1st to the 7th, along with it, and at the same time, the Sedona College of Alumni Association, SKAA, is going to be having very interesting panelist activities sessions. The cool thing about it, or one of the good things about it, is that these sessions are happening at the same hotel, in the same venue, and at the same time. So if you sign up for this and you happen to be going to the Kyoto event with the steps on the path, let's say, everything is going to be happening there at the same time. So if you're already going, of course, we will encourage you, try to also sign up for these activities. They're going to be wonderful, wonderful activities, very interesting, wisdom sharing sessions. So yeah, if you want to do that, you have to, one of the requirements is that you need to have attended or be part of the Sedona College International Management programs at some point if you want to sign up. But if you have, then try to sign up. It's going to be wonderful, happening in the same venue at the same time. A few sessions ago, we had our dear friend Xuanzang talking about it, and of course, inviting and encouraging students of the Sedona College to sign up. That's the overview of the Geshe main events during these upcoming months before 2025. A few other things happening, we will be telling you a little later, but these are big events that are happening. It's good for you to know what's going on. And a little bit aside of this, but this particular week, we have the Latin America tour having action and activities. Number one, in Argentina, this is like the poster of the whole tour happening there. They are having the presentation of one of the books that Laura Valiente, a friend of us, a student also in Argentina, she's going to be presenting this wonderful book she wrote. That's going to be on Friday. Posters are in Spanish because that's the main audience, of course. It's happening in Buenos Aires, capital of Argentina. This is going to be on Friday. And then on Saturday, they're having like a conference. Paulina and some other teacher guests are having this event on the 5th, October 5th, Saturday of October 5th, also in Buenos Aires. And then on Tuesday 8th, they having another great conference there as well. So these sessions are part of the Latin America tour that many of the Hispanic speaking teachers of this ancient wisdom are doing. But also now we have great news that Costa Rica is also having events this upcoming week. And it's a very cool session of teachings that our friends, some of our friends in Mexico are going to be teaching in Costa Rica. It's about the teachings of the heart yoga. For that, it's going to be, next picture, please. It's going to be from October the 3rd to October 5th. And for that, we have our friend Alejandro Rivas, which also it's a member of YSI. He's very involved with YSI these days, teaching many courses in Guadalajara and Mexico. He's here with us, and he's going to tell us a little bit of what they have planned for this upcoming weekend in Costa Rica. Here he is with us. Alex Rivas, how are you?
Hey, Juan. Very good. And you?
God bless. Very good as well. Great to see you. Great to see you. Many of you may know Alex Rivas and I grew up in Guadalajara together. It's like very wonderful feeling of being among friends. So I'm so glad you came today. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, Alex, what's happening this time in Costa Rica and why you decided, maybe tell us a little bit of what happened last year when you went and what happened so you decided this time to teach about these topics.
Yeah, we're trying to follow Geshe classes where he is right now in, like, you know, he's finishing this book in Kyoto, the last teaching of these teachings.
Steps on the path. Yeah.
Yeah, of the steps on the path. And so the last time he was teaching about the 6 perfections, like how to train your heart. So last time we went to Costa Rica, we saw they are very into yoga, into asana, into twisting and stretching, you know. So we decided to take these 6 perfections, these like teachings to how to train your heart, how to be a good person, but into the yoga, into the asanas. That is something that Geshe Michael already did in a book. So we took those teachings and we are just taking them to the mat, to how it is in the book, and we are sharing this teaching with them in their own language, in their own how they want it. It's we need to adapt to what they want, and they are yogis. So this time Alexa Diaz de Sandy and Gina Rivera, we're going there and we're dividing the class. It's going to be a 2-hour class, and yeah, it's beautiful. Costa Rica has been great. and we're going to teach in 4 different places. The same class is theory and practice, and so we just want to dress up for them, like to what they need. We want to take it to them. So they need yoga. We need to take the teachings of the good heart to the mat. That's what we're doing.
That's very wonderful. And if I may ask, Alex, what's your wish, or what's the vision of the future? What do you see as a potential happening in Costa Rica? This is the second time you went. Can you tell us just very briefly what was your general view of the scene there in Costa Rica, and what do you expect or wish for this second time?
Yeah, we want to expand to like a more general audience, not like only yogis. The last time we went to like a place where they really meditate. It's another tradition of meditation. So they really practice. They are really into these meditation practices and yoga practices. But we want to open to a more general audience, not only like yogis or meditators, but to entrepreneurs. We're trying to go to the University of Costa Rica and give a talk there. So that's what we're going there to the university to ask for permission to teach there. That's what we're doing this next time.
That's wonderful. And as far as I understand, eventually the idea is to be going to each one of the different countries, not only once a year, but maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and also to have somehow a follow-up, like in between visits, programs about that. Could you tell us a little bit about what you'll be thinking about it? Like maybe having monthly sessions, or what ideas have you guys come up in order to give a follow-up in between visits?
Yeah, we have a friend there who is organizing, Lucia Chaverri. She's teaching once a week yoga there. So we are sending all with her if they want a live class. But we're also giving classes online regularly to them. Whatever they need. Once a month, we will get together to create community. You know, that's what we want, to create community. They feel they belong to something, that they belong to something higher, that we are all together in this, you know. So we want to go there and let them know that they can change their reality, basically.
That's very cool. And by the way, I have heard that Costa Rica, never been there myself, but I hear it's a wonderful, beautiful place to be. It attracts so many tourists. They say the nature is amazing. So I was thinking maybe eventually, like if events are big enough here, things are moving so much, maybe at some point international audience may want to go there. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, a beautiful thing about them is that they don't have an army. For example, it's a beautiful thing about Costa Rica. They don't have an army, and you can feel it in the people. They are so peaceful that they think they don't need an army. So that's really great. And I went to another retreat there in Costa Rica with the 3 Jewels people. So internationally, it's a great place to go. It's beautiful, and let's see how we grow there.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe one day many of us have a chance to be there and either help or learn or something. But thank you so much for doing this. We want to wish you best. Can you say that? I don't know. Does that make sense? We want to wish you best wishes, something like that. But we are sending the best wishes anyways. Let us know how it goes. We wish you the best. Thank you, Utpala. And let us know how it goes. Let us know how it goes. Send videos, and we'll be reporting soon.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope people also are happy about it, and hope that you went whatever for the audience. You are ready for the next class. You went to the bathroom or did whatever you needed to, or just gladly rejoice about the cool things that are happening. We'll be reporting more soon once we get to hear more or to see more. Next class is going to be with Adam. He'll be back very, very soon. as far as I hear in the chat. But yeah, for now, Nick can sing a little song for us. Just kidding.
I don't know. My singing's not so great in person, so on Zoom, I fear what it would do to you all. However, thank you for a great presentation, and for me, it's always really fun to hear about what's going on, especially in Costa Rica, because we need a reason to get down there too, right, Hasso?
They may have good surfing. I don't know.
Indeed, they definitely do.
Yeah.
There's
So
Adam.
yeah, let's keep practicing so the day we get there, we are ready for the level that the land demands. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, here we are, and see you soon. Sending
Thanks,
best wishes.
Juan.
See you, Adam.
Thanks, Juan.
Very welcome.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into a little homework here. All right, so we've been talking a lot about Zaitchik, and there's been some confusion, obviously, because it's a confusing subject. And so we're trying to figure out if we perceive something, if when we perceive a coffee cup, and that means that if when we perceive a coffee cup, that means that we perceive all of its accompanying qualities, what's the limit of that? Right? Like something that came up for me when I was thinking about it was, if we can say that when you perceive a coffee cup, that means you perceive all of its accompanying qualities. Why can't you say that you perceive the emptiness of that coffee cup? Right? Because the emptiness associated with that coffee cup is a quality of the coffee cup. However, we don't perceive that directly, right? Because if we did, we'd be perceiving emptiness directly. So there's some kind of like more subtle things that you can get into with this. So I was just trying to give a little context as to maybe why we've been harping on this so much and why we've spent literally since March of this year, February of this year, kind of on this subject. So if the consciousness of the eye perceives everything that it's a chick with a coffee cup, can we also say that it perceives its touchability?
I guess you have to say that. I don't love it, but I think that that's technically correct. I mean, you sure have left a lot of room for an answer here, so I'm guessing that it's something more than yes or no.
Yeah, totally. Well, we didn't entirely tie this up with a bow and put it to bed in the last class. So I did some legwork and came up with some definitive kind of ways of really putting this into a little bit more context for ourselves. So I haven't checked the chat, but if anybody has a chat that matches the length here, and you can do it verbatim, we'll say.
Can we say that consciousness somehow perceives it, but not directly?
That's been the typical go-to answer, right? Is that you perceive it, however, you don't ascertain it. What I'm finding though is that something that's established, and let's just go ahead and bring it out here. What we're finding out is that something that's established and held in both the Vaibhashika and the Sautrantika school is that you can't say that the eye perceives the touchability because they belong to two different kyeches.
Cool.
So the kyeche, whatever kyeche is interacting with whatever aspect of that coffee cup. Like, let's say you pick the coffee cup up and you drop it and you listen, you hear it like break or something like that. You're just thinking of the different ways that the kyeche is actually, that the consciousness engages with physical objects. So the color and shape that indicate the vision. And I want to go through this kind of slow just to make sure, because I figured there has been some kind of confusion in the chat regarding Zachick over the past few sessions. So I just want to make sure that we're all totally on the same page with this answer before we go on. So the color and shape that indicate the visual perception of a coffee cup and the touchability of the coffee cup are direct objects of two different sense spheres, right? Touchability belongs to what, Geshe?
Feeling.
Yeah, Rekja. Yeah, totally. So I went and looked up the definition of the division of the sense of touch, right? In the Dura. And you find that the consciousness of the eye, it can only see colors and shapes, right? So the consciousness of the body can only experience either touchable things, which are elements, or touchable things, which are products of the elements. And you have to say this is true, because one of the reasons that we can say, and I took this a step further and used my own, and I'm hoping that you guys call me, or if you see something that stands out that doesn't make sense, please stop me. So if that's true, then we should be able to deduce that while the consciousness of the eye perceives everything that is Zachick with a coffee cup, it's limited to perceiving only that which is conducive to its respective Geshe.
Cool.
So, for example, if the consciousness of an eye can see fire, the color and shape of the fire, right? But it can't experience it, because fire is necessarily defined as
hot and burning.
Yeah. Thank you, verbal coding. Was that you? Was that you who put the translators at work? Excuse me, who did that?
That was a gift from the Spanish channel, I believe.
Okay.
It sounded like Venerable Upala.
Okay, no, it is the Spanish.
No,
yeah, your window popped up in the same space.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, we have this for other organizations as well. So
awesome. Okay. No, thank you for the reminder. Please, you can leave it up. Leave it up the whole time.
It doesn't work unless it rises spontaneously.
Yeah. Yeah.
For no reason at all.
For no reason at all. So I think that's pretty airtight, right? The consciousness of the eye can see fire, but it can't experience fire, right? Because fire is necessarily hot and burning.
Because the eye can only see shape and color.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
So, and the eye can see a coffee cup.
Yeah. It can
so
see
is the coffee cup shape or color?
Shape is form, right? You talking about coffee cup itself, like the name coffee cup?
I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, I'm not there yet. I don't know. That seems like a problem. This is hard, Adam.
Can I comment a little bit on the I think this is a big task, but it looks like to me what you're saying is very like obvious in a way, like not that you didn't do the research, but this is the most obvious answer that I think is probably right.
Yeah.
That we're basically saying the eye consciousness cannot see everything that is Zachick with the coffee cup.
Exactly.
You can see everything that is Zachick with the coffee cup, which is visible, basically.
Or everything, this is, so I found a term in the text and it equated to rangzenness. So
which is the best visible form?
Well, everything that comes along with being a rangzen, your eye perceives. So the individual sense spheres perceive their respective data or stimulus, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so far
bound up with that, it perceives its subtle impermanence. The fact that it's a changing thing.
We're denying that right now, that the eye consciousness perceives any of those,
No,
right?
no, No, this is why I was wanting to make sure that we stuck with this for a second before we actually moved on. So the consciousness of the I does perceive things which go along. So coffee cups have certain qualities that go along with coffee cups, right?
Yeah.
Not only color and shape, but there are also things outside of Bimpo that are
Mat
Denman
things that are not matter that are
things that are not matter that accompany
laws.
each one of those things.
Yeah.
So the coffee cup has a set of Denman Duces that go along with it. And
As a
although you're
set of
non-associated changing things which are neither physical nor mental.
I mean, if you say, for example, coffee cup is a changing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee cup, or this coffee cup here.
Yeah. Beautiful coffee.
Yeah, it's called a keep cup. It was provided by the fine people at Amazon. I don't know where they got it. I guess they got it from the people at Keep.
Yeah.
It has the quality of having been made in, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, let's say it was made in Mexico. So, is this coffee cup a thing made in Mexico? So if you say yes, or if you say this coffee cup is it a thing that came from Amazon?
Are we
then
talking?
when you look at it,
Sorry.
Yeah, if that's true, anything you say that's true about it, then when you look at this thing, you see object that came from Amazon.
Yeah.
So even if you didn't know it came from Amazon, for example, you don't know this is an object that I drank a certain sort of coffee out of that came from a certain region of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know which, but when you look at it, you're seeing coffee cup that had Colombian coffee roasted in Carlsbad, California in
Yeah.
it. So do you have to be seeing that for it to be true? And we can make up any quality. You're seeing changing thing.
Yeah.
You're seeing thing that had steady state coffee in it. You're seeing thing that I bought in Amazon. All those things are true. So are those qualities?
Yes.
You're seeing them, right? Anything that coffee cup isn't that the thing that you're seeing, whether you know it or not? You are seeing a thing that came from Amazon, even if you don't know it.
No,
even if you don't believe me.
Well, and I think one of the reasons we could really take what you just said, Ben, and step into a level deeper that may provide good fodder for our meditation cushions too, is that every object, physical, right, or mental, or of the third category, is also changing, right? So every coffee cup, like the one that you just picked up, has a subtle impermanence that goes along with it as well. And if it didn't have that subtle impermanence, then it would necessarily exist from its own side. It would be static. It wouldn't change. So what we're really trying to hone in here is that yes, okay, the consciousness of the eye perceives a coffee cup. It perceives its color and its shape, but it also perceives its subtle impermanence and other qualities that can't be seen with the eye. And that is true of the ear consciousness, the consciousness of the ear. If it hears a good rock and roll song, let's say, I think Geshe Michael would use that terminology, right? Like the consciousness of the ear. The ear, you hear a good rock song, and what comes along with hearing that is not just the sound, because you don't hear the color and shape, do you? I mean, The rock song doesn't have a color and shape, right?
I doubt it.
Yeah, so you don't hear the color and shape. However, you do hear its subtle impermanence. So what we're really trying to focus in on here is that there are certain qualities that you don't perceive with your eye. However, you do perceive them directly, and you just don't ascertain them.
I'll make it worse for you, Adam.
Yeah.
If the changing of a cup is is that a changing thing?
Yeah.
Are all the qualities of the cup are all the
No.
qualities of the cup changing things?
There are aspects of any given phenomena which are also unchanging. So if you have a coffee cup, right? The definition of a coffee cup, if I can remember correctly, it's like a flat, round bottom thing made for holding coffee. So, and just follow me here, guys. I promise I'm not trying to lose you. Ben asks a very good question. So, in order to hold coffee, you need to have a space within the object to do the holding, right? A coffee cup wouldn't be a coffee cup if it was like a solid piece without which something you could, if you couldn't pour coffee into it, right? If it didn't have a recess, if it didn't have a recessed area or a space within it to pour coffee, then you wouldn't be able to pour the coffee into it, right? And it wouldn't be a coffee cup. So the reason I say that is because the space that is associated with that coffee cup is necessarily something that is unchanging, right? And you could also say, and so your eye doesn't perceive that directly, but it has to do so through some amount of inference. It has to do so by some amount of reasoning. So there are qualities that come along with physical objects that are unchanging in nature. And who can tell me the most important one? The most supreme quality that anything you can think of, smell, taste, touch, or hear has.
The absence of self-existence.
The absence of self-existence, right? So there are emptinesses associated with every object that we experience as well. And those are unchanging in nature. However, we don't perceive those directly. Right?
Yeah.
And if we did, you can do so inferentially, you can do so intellectually. But we know that the experience of emptiness, the highest experience that we can have on our cushion, is done so without the use of concepts. So this is kind of what we're warming up to here, and we're trying to use these topics as like a friction fire. So we're using these different ideas to really get us thinking and to help approximate our understanding of emptiness, to help get closer and closer to the, to a true understanding. So there are reasons why we're talking about this. And I specifically lead in with the subtle impermanence thing, because when we talk about Mitakpa, that was one of the things that J brought up a few sections ago, was the fact that that coffee cups have a changing nature that you do perceive with the eye.
Is the changing nature of coffee cups a specific object, a manifestation, Jitsen, or is it a Ransen, an actual object?
It's an actual object.
Okay.
It's an
changingness. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So this is
You
something.
should go on. I'm sorry. I
No,
don't
no,
want
no,
to.
no, no. I was hoping that we could really hash these things out because it's only going to get more difficult in the text if we're not all on the same page. And one of the reasons that we really have to stick with it, and I'm hoping that other people, as like Oscar, I see Jojo, I see Gibson there, Elva, Laya, I see a lot of people here. And I have to think to myself that this can't make sense to everybody. Or maybe I am the last schmuck who doesn't understand this.
No, I'm with you.
A little slower.
Yeah, schmuck. Um, yeah. So, yeah,
Are there multiple things that belong to the category changing thing?
Yes.
So does that make it a generality, a rikchi, a general, in the sense of being a chitzen?
Yeah, well, it can exist in a dual way, right? You have the category of coffee cup because you've got many coffee cups that belong to the category of coffee cup, but you can also have slow down atom. You can also have a coffee cup, right? So you can have a specific thing, or you can have, or it can exist in a general way.
So when you say touchability here, do you mean a touchable thing?
A touchable
or do you
thing.
mean the group called
I mean
touchable
a
things?
touchable thing. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
a
when you say touchability, is that a quality, a generality that applies to multiple things?
It is. Yes.
If it's a generality, then isn't that a chitzen, a generality meaning that it's perceived by JPOC sama deductive perception rather than direct perception
No,
because the
because
two
I can
types
pick,
of perceptions are used to perceive the two types of object.
but I can pick up a coffee cup and drink out of it. I can feel it on my lips, right?
Yeah, right. So but can you
Has a
pick up
touchable quality?
changeability?
You have to use reason to say that what you're feeling is the same thing that you're seeing with your eyes.
Now, this is where it starts to get super, super interesting. Thank you, Venerable Lavala. Thank you. But just we'll kind of clear it up and we'll move on. I just wanted to highlight that for 12 years, I carried the wrong idea that mitakpa was an unchanging thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hello?
No, it's okay. It's just a change in color.
We talk about
Everything's
because
still
it's a
present.
concept.
Because it's well, yeah, well, you could think you always hear whenever we talk about it as a group, and anytime I've heard Geshe lecture on it, we talk about mitakpa as in the fact that things are changing. And Geshe Michael's very clear to hone in on the word fact when he speaks about it. And if you talk about the fact that a coffee cup is a changing thing, then it's an unchanging thing. And that is not Zaychik with the coffee cup.
This is mitakpa yimba, right? As opposed to mitakpa.
I'm not sure because I mean, I would like to think that that's one way we could drill down on it even further. But I never hear Geshe make that distinction. The reason that I really wanted to sit here with this is because this was something that I thought I had nailed down when I first did course 13. And it turns out that as we're studying this, I'm finding that I have a lot of wrong misconceptions. And one of those, and I think it's a biggie, is the quality or the nature of changiness. because it seems so crucial on our path to seeing emptiness directly. And it is necessarily the first thing that we really start to, the first subject really that's even encountered when you begin to study reasoning in our lineage is sound and its changing nature. So I think there's a reason why changingness is necessarily taken as an object for debate from day one. And that's because I think that it plays a crucial role in helping you understand the qualities and their particular qualities, the qualities of the qualities that associate or accomplish, or excuse me, or accompany every phenomena that we encounter. So
is existing thing changing or unchanging?
Some existing thing, nondescript.
Is coffee cup a changing thing? Is coffee cup an existing thing?
A coffee cup or quote coffee? Yes, I would say the category exists as well. Yes.
Yeah. But the category, so when you're looking at a coffee cup, you're looking at its ness, its existing thingness.
Yeah. I mean, that would be one way of saying it's wrong-sinness. Apparently
exists. Oh yeah.
Apparently
That's true existence. I'm including, right? Takpa and mitakpa, changing and unchanging things are both existing things.
Yeah.
Right? But you couldn't say that existing thing is a changing thing?
Yupa itself is a category. This is something we've been getting into. What about the category of Sheja?
Yeah, right. Knowable
the category
thing.
of Sheja is changing.
Yeah. And to be a coffee cup
right?
is to be
think about
Sheja.
it, right? The category of changing things, right?
Yeah.
Is taking on new things instant by instant. Slow down, or should I?
No, slow down a little bit. Yeah, just
down. I thought you were telling me to stop getting so worked up.
No, just for you to speak at the pace where they can keep up.
I feel you.
I think in this school, when we group together changing things and unchanging things, they're considered unchanging.
Unchanging. Yeah, totally.
Because
I 100%
when you
agree.
Yeah, when you staple an imaginary thing to a real thing, then the new thing that you have is just made up.
Yeah. Now, if you haven't been following the mixed nuts since about 2018 or so, you may have missed that, right? That is actually covered in a section of the Dura called Shidru Kinamsha. And if you want to explore that, you can go and check out our website and get the ebook, or I could slip you a copy under the table if you can't afford it.
How dare you?
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I would never, especially not for someone in need. But yeah, so it's I think this is a really crucial topic because it's getting our mind used to understanding once again the categories of existence and what belongs where and the qualities of the things that we encounter. And I think it's almost important at this juncture to further state that the entirety of the path is trying to understand how we are misperceiving phenomena. Right? I mean, that's where all of our suffering is arising from. So this isn't, kind of like, this is gymnastics. This is like you're doing cartwheels so that you can learn how to do like, a triple backflip in like a couple years. We know that there are 3 types of meditation, right? And one of those is Qigong. That's analytical reasoning. So this is a form of meditation. And this is to help you and me, excuse me, I'll speak from the first person here, singular. This is to help me really get used to handling advanced reasoning. So I hope you guys don't mind that we, kind of spent 30 minutes on this one question, but you can see I still don't think we have it all figured out here. However, I hope the discussion we've had thus far has at least helped maybe a few people understand a little different, a little deeper. If there was something you missed. So once again, the consciousness of the eye can perceive colors and shapes. So it perceives the color and shape of any object, but it also it has things that are zeichik with that object that are perceived but are not quote unquote ascertained. That being namely something called subtle impermanence and other qualities that are very good meditation objects. Let's move on. So from the perspective of the Sautrantikas, why do we say that there must be a self-perception? Or let's say this must be self-awareness.
Because in order for something to exist, it has to be perceived by valid perception. And so in order for consciousness to exist, it has to be perceived by valid perception.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
And in fact, in this school, you could even have the word direct.
Yeah, totally.
Fresh.
Fresh, exactly.
Even.
Sorry,
dude. So there can be no object without a subject. That's another way of saying kind of what you said. More specifically, there can be no object without an accurate perception to verify its existence. So, right, we know that. Is there anybody in the chat that can give me the definition of an existing thing?
That which is perceived by an accurate perception.
Yeah.
Mikpa.
Right? Yeah. So, in order for something to exist, it has to be perceivable or perceived by an accurate perception. So you can consider the fact that the definition of an existing thing hinges on being perceivable by an accurate perception. Therefore, from the perspective of the Sautrantikas, self-perception must be asserted, as the existence of an outside object cannot be confirmed without a self-perception of the accurate perception that engages it. That one's a little bit more straightforward, but if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to slow us up. And
I don't know. It seems convoluted to me.
Do it. Unclear.
Why do you say you have to be able to see yourself seeing something in order to see something?
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what the Sautrantikas say.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
But yeah. So first off, right? Nick, you had your finger up? It was just me.
Isn't it as simple as because that consciousness, which is perceiving something, has to also be perceived in order to say that it exists?
Yeah, well, and then that's where you get into the idea of an infinite regress, right? Because you would need a perception of that perception of the perception of that perception, and then so on and so forth. So I actually had that as part of the answer in here, but I took it out because I don't want to get into the all the subtleties of why the different schools go back and forth with each other. And that's
I
one
thought
of
you were going to say that you actually had an infinite regress once, and it was exhausting.
Dude, I'm still tripping out. Yeah.
Still in the process.
One night
Yeah.
at a fish concert.
Just doesn't
Yeah.
stop. Yeah.
Background now.
I never got out of that maze, man. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and you know, there's a yeah, we'll just leave it there. We'll leave it there. We kind of been spending a lot of time. So why does the mind-only school say that the color blue and the eye consciousness, which holds the color blue, are such that to be one is to substantially be the other? I feel like I should read it like a game show host, and then I find the cadence of my voice like reminds me of a game show host whenever I slow down and do it. Does anybody have an idea about number 3?
Same seed.
This is pretty easy. Well, pretty short one here.
There's no real difference between the two because everything you perceive is your mind.
Yeah. I was trying to throw in a Zajic aligned question, but I like your answer, and
I meant say chicken that it's all mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So if as the mind-only school purports, subject and object arise from the same seed, then they're forced to assert that they are co-occurring and arise simultaneously, which in turn means that they must be Zajic, because that's the definition of Zajic. The Zajic is actually, we might see it in the text when we go over there, something called Drup de Zajic. So there are 2 different kind of levels of it. Zajic and then Drup de Zajic. Does that make sense? Did I word that like clearly enough?
It looks pretty clear, but I want to ask you a question. Does this Zajic here just kind of more mean same substance rather than meaning substantially the same thing?
I would take those 2 things. I would take the 2 phrases you just used, the 2 terms, to be synonymous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we said last time something about it being separable and co-occurring.
Exactly. Yeah. Yerme. Yerme. And I think this is very beautiful. I personally, the reason I love logic is due to one of the things that I got out of this, which is that if 2 things occur, if 2 things occur at the same time, you have to say they're Zajic.
Well, they have to be the same stuff too.
They have to be the same stuff, right? Yeah. But I would get a little thrown off because I would think to myself, oh, well, surely there are 2 different coffee cups, one here in this room and then one on the other side of the world, that are being created at the same time too, right? They're Yerme, but they're co-occurring.
To whom?
Wow. Yeah, I'm just saying within the sphere of like existence on this planet. But I thank you for the clarification. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, the co-occurring thing here is so can a seed and a sprout exist at the same time?
No.
Can we say that the sprout is a result of the cause of the seed?
If there is an existing sprout, then we can speak about that it had a cause.
It had to have come from a cause, right?
Yeah.
So
in this school, right?
Yeah, totally. And when we talk about causes, right? Can causes, excuse me, everything that arises, everything that is Zajic with the coffee cup comes from the same cause. Why is that? Because they're co-occurring. If they do not occur at the exact same time, then they're coming from different seeds. That's one of the ways that you can differentiate between objects, between a cell phone or like my bed or, a book that I'm reading or computer. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if they're if something is co-occurring, that means that it's necessarily coming from the same seed. Because even in the word co-occurring, that is necessarily pointing to at least two different qualities, right? To say that something is co-occurring, right? So the reason that I'm trying to really focus in on this is because I thought that was a pretty cool breakthrough that I had when I was thinking about it. Was that sometimes I would think the coffee cup, the color of the coffee cup is coming from one seed, and its tangibility is coming from a different seed. Does that make sense?
I don't know. It's so if two different TV shows on two different channels, they both start at 7, they both end at 8. They're the same.
Well, in the sense of being TV shows, yeah. But that's not necessarily what I'm trying to say.
Two things that happen at the same time, right? One in Tuscaloosa and one in Timbuktu.
Yeah.
But aren't we qualifying that by saying they're from the same they are of the same substance?
Of the same substance. Well, apparently, okay, so indivisible. Sorry, dude. We hold on. Yeah, Kramer. Thank you. Yerme should be the Yerme should be the operable term here that we use with co-occurring.
Yeah.
So Yerme being indivisible, right? And co-occurring. Okay. So if something, super sorry for everybody in the audience, huge stipulation. Something can be said to be coming from the same cause if it is indivisible and co-occurring.
Oh. Okay. What does indivisible mean?
Like you can't have two different TV shows or one coffee cup here and one coffee cup in Timbuktu that happen to be created at the same moment.
I'll be over here cooking it.
So that means that's the definition of Zechig.
Okay.
So maybe to take that back to the consciousness of the eye, can we say that based on this is free form here now, doing some improv, okay? Just to take what we just learned now, if, as K-J asserts, the definition of Zechig is to be indivisible and co-occurring, then can we say that the tangibility of a cup and the color and shape of a cup are coming from the same seed? No, I would say we can't.
Oh no. Oh,
no.
Okay. I was going with yes there.
No,
okay,
I would say, we can't because the they're not Zechig. The whole
okay.
the
Don't they both arise at the same time and you can't have one without having the other?
Are they separable?
I guess I'm saying no. If I understand what separable means,
well, you just said they were indivisible. Are you saying that's a different concept than inseparable?
Yeah. Now, Geshe Michael gave a good answer. He said he talked to someone at a gas station, I want to say the night before my last class. And he said she was stung by a scorpion and she couldn't feel anything in her hand. So for her, there's no touchability, but the color and shape is there. like the rekja, right? The feeling, her ability to touch it. So I mean, once again, in an earlier part in this book, we learn that things may be true, but you have to stipulate for who and in what context, at what time and for who, right? That's going back a couple of years, but and I think there may be other ways of attacking that problem. And but that's why I'm posing the question to you guys. I like the pushback because am I saying that the color and shape of a coffee cup and the touchability of a coffee cup are coming from different seeds? Are they in fact, yeah, indivisible?
I think you would say that in this school that to be one is to necessarily be the other, the way you're phrasing it.
But not to substantially be the other?
No, substantially. Yeah, to be one is to substantially be the other, but it's a one-way relationship.
Yeah.
To be one is to be the other, but to be the other doesn't necessarily be. They are distinct in the sense that they are not identical objects. It's still true, though, that to be a cup is to be a changing thing, though being a changing thing doesn't necessarily mean being a cup.
I think that follows. About.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm trying. It's so hard.
Okay. Zennam.
Subject.
Oh, cool.
Look at me a little bit more. Yeah, subject, definitely.
The aspect of the object on the side of the mind perceiving it.
Wow.
Subjective aspect.
Apprehending aspect.
Yeah, that's it. Man. Yeah. The apprehending aspect. Toto, from the 3-point line. Right. Okay, so here's my attempt. This is all Geshe gave me to really work with. So
Here we go.
Toto, would you mind reading for us? Would you help us?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm gonna mess up the first word.
Hey,
Jepat.
Yeah.
Chatok. Chatok. Chupchup yena. Chazi nianxie ki. Je chu gun tongwa xindu. Te changbe xie. Kyang je chugun nye gube jemi takba so tokbe nam tumeba gyuro.
Yeah, your phrasing was really good too, man. You were holding the words together that were needed to be.
Trying.
Not too shabby.
You have to ask him what Jepa means.
Yeah, what is yeah?
I said I was not gonna mess up the first word. That's
no. Hold
so
on. Okay,
this is a special one just for you, Dodo.
This is a special one just for you. It another form of the came up in Ben's class for you.
Jepa.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's the same. It's also a closed quotation mark.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a verse before, and we could go and get that. Let's do that.
I mean, yeah, if we know what it says, which is maybe a heavy lift.
Dropping in here. Dungi ranging over chick, danging on some yampala, sema nanki ta cha kang, ma tong cha shin chi shi ye.
What does that mean?
I looked at it for a while. I don't know entirely. I arrived at something like in essence, they're one and the same thing, right? And ngowo chik meaning like subsumed. The wrong here. So the self, and there are so many different ways to read. Well, I wouldn't say so many different, but there are a few different ways to read dun. So that kind of is what started to really trip me up a little bit. Is it meaning? Is it object? Dun has even been used in reference to, well, like ngowo. So I'm open here.
Well, he's talking about the two lines that our author just quoted from the Pramanavartika. And this commentary to the Pramanavartika, which you just pulled from, is commenting on that as well.
Mhm.
And that's what we're in right now, is
Yeah.
Geshe Wangchuk's commentary.
Yeah.
Well, we'll piece it together, Adam, after you tell us your piece of commentary, and then we can try and figure out how to translate. You already translated
Right.
the key to understanding the verse.
All right. So that thing, which is perceived by direct by a direct perception. Okay, so what? All right, here, let's go through it. So Dakni, that thing itself, Ngunsum Yampa, direct perception. Sema Nam, accurate perceptions, by the key, Takja, examined, right?
Things.
How, right? So Matong Chashin. What other parts would not be seen? What other parts would be there that wouldn't be seen? If by examining via accurate perception, now I would love to ask you guys. I'm finding sometimes in the root text that I switch between grouping two lines with each other, right? Or thinking that this first line could just be a line in itself.
It's not consistent.
Yeah, okay.
It's not. It's just not. And you can see when you compare it with the Sanskrit that sometimes it's a separate thought and sometimes it's not. So I don't think there's a one size fits all answer to that question.
Not 2 and 2, or 2 and 1 sentence, 2 and 1 and 2 and 1.
And importantly, the law here tells us that they are importantly related to one another, either by relation or by being unrelated, that we have yet to see. But at any rate, the law expresses that it's a part of a continuous thought. And
totally.
The Sanskrit is, I find, helpful sometimes because you can see,
the root text that I've encountered thus far in my text hasn't even been, we usually just see 1 or 2 lines.
Right.
And in the Tema Dedun and Kejipje's work, and Yiki Munsel. So encountering and like Venerable Upala said, this is actually drawn from your text, Ben. He actually put it in as a note, but this is what he wanted me to spend some time with in between our sessions. So
you do the commentary, and then in theory that should make it easy.
Totally. Yeah, I didn't see. Okay. Yeah.
Don't do this to yourself. You deserve better.
Do I like to shoot myself in the foot? It's just the way I've been operating for years.
You have the great Geshe Michael is desperate to help you.
Okay, so if sound is conceived by way of a positive engagement, let's say this
Drato conceived.
Yeah,
sound
that's what
conceived.
yeah, that's what I went with.
Right. Okay.
Then every aspect of sound is seen by the consciousness of the ear or the auditory consciousness. So that would be this Drazin Yinsheki Drai Chukun Tongwa. Right?
Then the Nianshe, your awareness holding sound. It's every chukun, every aspect, right? Every quality of dra, it sees Donghua, sees it, Shindu. It like that.
Well, that's why I split the sentence here, but in the same way, right? For the Shindu here. And then
because like just like how,
So Dei Zhangpe She Chang Drai Chukung Ngo Gupe. All right, here. So the Drongpa, I went with subsequent awarenesses. Once again, I had to kind of do some legwork to see that in logic texts and specifically in reference to memory and consciousnesses that are in this particular literature and in this reference, whenever you see Drong paired with She, literally means subsequent awareness.
Cool.
Okay. Drong, right, to pull or to guide, right? You could also see a similarity into like the GRANGS to enumerate, right? It's almost the same feeling, right? So Kyung let's say should ascertain, right? All aspects of sound. Dry chukun, right? And the dry mitapa so tope temanan de me pardon giro. Accurate perceptions, which realize things like the changing nature of sound, would become pointless.
Yeah, cool.
So I think and the reason it didn't really provide too much help, I feel like, with translating the verse, because I can kind of suss, right? Like done as object and wrong as self, you could see how those two things would be equal, right? Every object is going to have a self, and that's the definition of a cha.
Interesting.
Okay.
Right? To have a self, I want to say is the definition of cha.
Because it's dirt, its own nature.
Yeah. So an object with a self. Now, the Ngoa Chik, Geshe has treated that in the past as, before we move on, we've only got a minute left. But before we move on, what we're saying in the commentary here is that if by hearing a sound, you ascertain if the consciousness of the ear, I don't want to use the word ascertain. If the consciousness of the ear perceives all qualities of sound, right, then you should be able to say that an accurate perception of the same thing would also ascertain things like the changing nature of sound.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which means that, well, why would you ever need to go on your meditation cushion and spend time getting familiar with it
Yeah.
if you've already perceived it? Right? And that's the pointless thing here. That's the dunme, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. It seems like the munsum, what you see with a direct perception, that one entity, that need that you see,
Yeah.
it is both the thing and its nature. The thing and its nature are not separate. So you're having a direct perception of that singular thing that is the thing and all of its qualities. And so then accurate perceptions, semanam, when you look at things, then how could there be, when you analyze them, when you look at them with a sema, with an accurate perception, then how could there be any aspect of them that you
Some other
that you
aspect,
don't see?
some other
Yeah.
part.
This is once
What could there
again
be that you don't see?
this is once again I kind of briefly talked about, like I mentioned it to you, Ben, like what about the back of the coffee cup that isn't perceivable by the consciousness of the eye, right? Are there
Well, this could very well be a sarcastic statement.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's why
Yeah.
I was trying to really get, because it would seem like what Geshe Wangchuk here is saying is that I think it is sarcastic, because it really doesn't make sense outside of that context. In the sense that you can't say that whenever I look at a coffee cup, I ascertain its subtle impermanence. That would necessarily mean that I'm experiencing chochoke. Like, so there would be an issue there. And that's why I was trying to hone in on the difference between conceive, tok, and nge.
Okay.
Right? So what he's asserting, it doesn't necessarily follow. And we are 2 minutes over, but let's just
Quiet. Yeah, we better.
let's tie it up. I'll just tie it up real quick. If sound is conceived or perceived, then every aspect of sound is seen by an auditor, and also the positive engagement here as well. Because I think that the changing nature of sound is something that you'll have to ascertain by way of a sound juke and not a droop juke. Right. So I think that might be where this is really going, is the difference between what it means to positively engage something and then what it means to take something into an analytical meditation. Right.
Yep.
All right, dude. Thank you guys.
Cool, Adam. Thank you, man.
Thank you. The weather here on Saturn's beautiful. Some heavy sandworm activity lately, but we're putting up with it.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Translators, Worldview Productions, Hasso, Ben, for your guys' awesome classes. That was really a thought-provoking session. So it's grateful to you guys, the whole team. And Xuanzang's Tower, we'll see you on Saturday. Geshe Michael's triumphant return.
Much love, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Ciao.
Thank you.
There is Tibetan alphabet class for people interested.
Yeah, thank you, Profe. So if you want to stay, if you still have a little energy to have a review or go deep into this language, then you can stay with me. So let me prepare. So this is the third class that Tin, Roxana, and I are delivering to you. We are thinking about 6 classes, maybe 7, and we are trying to share with you the basics of this West Chinese language. If you have this basic like rules or understanding of the language, then you will be able to read this text, and also you will be able to follow the class better with Geshe Michael Roach, which is, I think, the most important thing. And because these books are talking about very cool things, probably you know already. So first class was about the alphabet, the sounds of the letters. Second class was about vowels and how they change or how they add the vowel to the root sounds of the letters. Today's topic is about superscript letters or head letters. But before that, I would like you to show you a little chart, which I think is useful if you are really trying to understand what's happening with West Chinese. Let me move a little bit my controls here so I can see you. Let me change a little bit my lamp. So, West Chinese is composed by syllables. We have different ways of creating languages. For example, Spanish or English are composed, and Russian too, they are composed by words. Each word is composed or is created by letters. Each letter has a sound. So together, these letters, for example, let's say here, we have here accomplish, then the combination of these sounds of these letters create one word, and this word has a meaning. This is for English, Spanish, Russian, and many of the European languages, maybe all of them. But in Asia, things change a little bit. So West Chinese is created by syllables. You can have words of one syllable, for example, ka or ka. Ka means dog, like a dog. You can have words of 2 syllables, like tua, which today we saw tua, which is smoke. And you can have words of 3 syllables, 4 syllables, 5 syllables, and like that. This means that not because you have a syllable in West Chinese, you are saying something with meaning. Maybe you need another syllable so you can have a full word or a full meaning. Now, we are going to break down one syllable, which is the foundation part or the foundation component of West Chinese. This that you're seeing here, this is West Chinese. This is called Uchen, which is like the classical way of writing. This can have, this is one syllable only. You can identify that a syllable has stopped or is beginning because of this little dot here. Now, the syllable by itself is composed or is created by 7 elements. Okay? So we can have 7 elements. We can have from 1 element to 7 elements. It is not required that you have to fill the 7 elements at once. You can have just 1 element, which the basic one is, for example, a letter. I'm going to write in the chat the letter K, which also is a word, which is a pillar. A pillar is the thing that it's in your house, keeping the roof over your head, keeping the roof not falling on you. That's a pillar. So that's K. That's the minimum that you need for a valid syllable in West Chinese. But we have 7 elements that can be occupied or that can be used or not. So I have here this little chart. And this is like from most important to less important, let's say, in a way. But for sure, the first element is the most important, because without this one, you cannot have the other elements. This is like the foundation element. So then the first element, we call it the root letter. Root letter means like the letter which is carrying the original sound to the whole syllable. It could be changed or not, but this is the original sound. The root letter is bringing the original sound to the whole syllable. The root letter could be any of the 30 consonants that you already know in the alphabet that we saw already 2 classes. Kachatapatsa, 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 nganyanamawa, and all of that. Any of these 30 consonants, any letter of the alphabet can be the root letter. So here is this one in red. In the Uchen is this one. Let me do it bigger. Like this little thing. This is the main letter. Now, the second element is vowel. And Tinla talked about this last week. We have 5 sounds: A, I, U, E, and O. So vowels are the second element that can be part of a syllable. You can have, well, there's this thing that in West Chinese, we don't write the A sound. We just write the I sound, U sound, E sound, and O sound, because the A sound is like already inside each of the 30 letters. So you can say that we have 4 vowels or 5 vowels, depending on your position and depending if you want to have a debate. Anyway, we have vowels as the second element. That's why after talking about the alphabet, we talk about vowels. The third element are the head letters, which is the subject of today. And I'm going to talk about head letters. In the head letters, out of the 30 consonants, out of the whole alphabet, we can have only 3 letters, which are Ra, La, and Sa. There's no other letter than these 3 that can be on the place of the head letters. You cannot write here a Ma or a Ta, only Ra, La, and Sa can be on the place of the head letter. And we call it head letter because they go on top of the main letter. So this is the main letter, and this is the head letter, and you can see it is on top of the main one, right? So that's why we call it head letter. That's the third element of a syllable. The fourth one is the subjoined letters. These can be only 4. Out of the 30 consonants, or out of the whole alphabet, we can have only 4. Ya, ra, la, and wa. No other letter than this can be a subjoined letter. We call them subjoined. Subjoined just means like it is attached under. That's the meaning. It is, maybe I should change this subjoined, which is like a little too much. Let's say attached letter. We call them attached because they are underneath the main letter. So we have here the main letter, and this one here, this little thing here, like a curvy line, it's the attached letter, and this is under the main letter. So on top we have the head letter, and under we have the attached letter or subjoined letter. Okay? And by the way, this is a vowel. This one here at the very bottom, this is a U, sharp Q. So vowels are also written in the same vertical level than the main letter. Okay? So far, we are talking about this level. I say we have 2 levels in West Chinese. We have vertical level and we have horizontal level. In English, we have only horizontal level. We don't have vertical level. We cannot pile up one letter on top of the other. We cannot do that in English. And we are using English alphabet to represent the Uchen. So you have to know that we are not able to represent in this English alphabet the vertical level. We are representing everything in just the horizontal level. That's why I have here the Uchen, because then you can appreciate better why we call it head letter, subjoined letter, and you can appreciate the 2 levels. So vowels are always on the same level, on the vertical level as the main letter. The same, the head letters are always on this line of the main letter, as well as the attached letters. Now, if you have questions, you can talk or you can write it in the chat at any moment. The 5th element, we call them like prefix. Prefix just means like it goes before. This pre or pre in English, it is called, it means before. And here we have 5 letters: ka, ta, pa, ma, and a. Only these 5 can be in this place of the prefix letter. It is pre because it goes before the main letter. So we have here the main letter. In this case, in this example, this pa is the prefix letter. So you can see it goes before. In the Uchen, it's easier to appreciate it. We have here the pa. And it's just before the main letter, which is this one, ka. Right before this, we have the prefix, pa. Then we have suffix. This means that this letter is going after the main letter. We have suffix and we have secondary suffix. So we have suffix here, this pa, and the secondary suffix is this sa, the purple one. In the suffix, we have 10 letters, I think. Let me count. Yeah. Ka, nga, ta, na, pa, ma, a, ra, la, sa. Only these 10 can be in this location, in this place of the suffix letters. And on the secondary suffix, and you can see they are called secondary because they are not the main suffix, they are go after the suffix. So this is like the secondary place of the suffixes. So here at the very end, we only can have 2 letters, which are ta and sa. And really, it is very weird or uncommon to see the secondary suffix ta. It is not very used now. So most of the secondary suffixes will be sa. In the Uchen, we have them here. We have this pa, which is after the main letter, so this is a suffix. And we have another one here, which is after the main suffix, then we have the secondary suffix. This is a sa. So then we have pao, saga, taga, ratatra, shakyuchu, pasatu. We have 7 elements conforming or composing, creating this word. This is an example, and this is a very good example because we have occupied the 7 spaces that can be occupied in a West Chinese syllable. And I'm going to repeat it. This is Uchen. We can see vertical and horizontal, but the code, the transliteration that we are using, it can manage only horizontal. So then you have to know this order. Once you identify the main letter, you know that before it, you can have only either a prefix or a head letter. In this case, this sa is a head letter. But because we cannot write it on top of the ka, we cannot write it here in the transliteration, we write it before. The prefix is in the right place because this goes before. Next, we have the attached letter, which is a ra. We cannot write under this ka, this g, so we have to write it after the main letter. And then after this one, we have the vowel. It could be a, e, I, o, u. So this is the vowel. And then after we have the suffix and maybe a secondary suffix. Okay? And a little note about vowels. I said we have 5 sounds, but really we have a little more sounds. It depends, but we can have another sounds like or e. We can have umlaut vowels. So yeah, we can have that. We are going to talk about that later. Anybody has a question about this, the 7 elements? You can have, remember, 1 place taken, which is the main letter. This place has to be taken all the time, every time. You can have the second one also. You can have 3, 4, and that's a totally valid syllable. You can have 6 of these spaces occupied, or you can have 7. It is not necessary to have the 7 to have a valid syllable. Okay? Now, if there's no questions, then let's go to the head letters. And I cannot see it. Why? Okay. So as I said, we can have only 3 letters as the head letters, which are Ra, La, and Sa. You cannot have another one but these 3 as a head letter. And you can like memorize all of these. Let me share it again. You can memorize all of these, like, for example, Ralasa, Yaralawa, Katapamaa. You can memorize all of these letters. So you know when you see this letter, you can identify that letter and know what's the place that is occupying. But to be honest, I'm not sure if you are really like, I memorized the suffixes once and then I forgot like 1 week after. Prefix, I remember them like last week and then I was doubting them this week. So I'm not very like into memorizing everything, especially these things, because anyway, you're going to be reading books. And what I do is just read a lot. And that's like making me, I get used to the language. So every time I see something funny, I know something weird is happening, or maybe that's a mistake, but not because I'm comparing a syllable with this chart, or, I'm not checking every time this. It is just because I've been reading a lot and I've been in these classes for some years. Then my mind is like familiar now with this language and this code, the transliteration. So I know when something is wrong. I just know. Maybe I'm not sure why, but it is like your language. It is like Spanish. I know when something is bad, with a bad spelling, it's spelling wrong. I know it because I've been speaking Spanish for a long time. So the same with English. I've been reading English for several years. So when something is misspelled, then I know. So that's what I do. I would say that you can follow my advice. Of course, you don't have to. But if you see a letter here, for example, a pa, you'll know that this is wrong. So in my opinion, there's no need to memorize these letters or any letter. The head letters change the pronunciation of certain letters. And there is where things are getting a little more interesting. But for now, we are just going to say that this is Ra, da, ta, da, nara, naro, do. You can see here this little thing on top, which is like a T in English. This is the Ra. This is the Ta. And this is the Naro. We have the vowel on top. Then we have the head letter, which is like a hat. And then we have the main letter, this one, the biggest. So this is Do. The transliteration is this one, Do. This means tone. And I'm sure you've been heard this before, Dorje, right? Kilihan is saying yes. So what's Dorje, Kilihan?
I'm not very sure, but I think it's like teacher or something, like they attain something. Like,
Dorje is diamond.
oh, yes.
Yeah, so because the J I'm going to write it in the chat. The J in Dorje is like Lord or like the boss, you know? So Dorje means like the boss, the Lord of stones. You're saying that there's no other stone above the Dorje, the diamond, because that's the, you know, that's the stone which cannot be broken with other stone, only with a diamond. That's the most pure stone and all of those qualities. So in West Chinese, they call the diamond like the boss diamond, the Lord diamond, okay? Do by itself just means like stone, like a normal stone. So you can see here in red, the head letter, Ra. Now, with the La, we have Ta. This is Ta. This is a verb. This means to look, to see. And the way you can see it in Uchen is like this. This is a La, and this is a Ta. La ta ta ta. And you can see how the La is full here. But here the Ra is not full. We remove the bottom part of the Ra letter so it can fit better in the main letter. But here the La is full size. We didn't remove anything. And then we have the Ta. In this case, we are not changing the pronunciation because maybe you noticed that we are not saying with do, we are not saying to, we are saying do, like a normal D in English. That's because the ta is one of the letters that change their sound whenever there's a head letter or a prefix letter. But that's subject of maybe another week, like 2 weeks, maybe. So here, the ta doesn't change sound with a head letter. It is the same. Ta, to look. And then we have nga. This is nga. Now we have a sa as head letter. And this is the way you can see it in the Uchen. We have the sa, which is the head letter, and we have the nga, which is the main letter. If we remove the sa, then the sound will be nga, nga, low tone. If we have a head letter, then the low tone will be high tone. It's the same sound, but now it's high. Instead of nga, we say nga, nga. And you can have like the sa on top or the la. It's the same sound, nga, high tone. This one, this nga with the sa means before. And there's a way to call them. We call them rango, lango, and sango. So when we are talking, and when you're talking with someone that already speaks West Chinese, you can say, oh, the one with the rango or the one with the lango. And they will understand because rango means like head letter ra, lango, head letter la, and sango, head letter sa. So the go means just head, is the word for head in West Chinese. So when we say rango, we're saying head letter ra, head letter la, and head letter sa. So that's a way of calling these 3 letters. So if you want to sound cool or if you want to impress someone, you can say, wait, do you mean do with the rango? Then they will be like very impressed that you say rango. Okay? And any questions? If not, then I think we can practice a little bit of reading.
Sorry, can I
Yeah,
ask?
yeah.
What is the dot that is beside those letters?
Why? What? Sorry?
What's the dot that is beside
Oh,
the uchin?
this one. This is called the. This little dot is dividing syllables. Okay, let me open. I'm going to open a new file. West Chinese doesn't have like, it does, but it is not the same as English or Spanish. I don't know about Chinese, how do you break or separate like ideas? Maybe you can tell me, Kilihan. So, okay. Let me share again. So, for example, in English, we have and you can, how many, Kilihan, how many words we have here?
4 words?
Yeah, 4 words. We have hi, how, are, and you, right?
Yes.
Now, in Uchen, in West Chinese, we have something like this. So how many words we have here?
4 as well?
You can say 4 or you can say 1. We have 4 syllables, that's for sure. How do you know we have 4 syllables? Because we have to write this little dot, the tse, in between each syllable. So we can know how to pronounce this word. This word means hi, hello. And it sounds like tashidele. So you can say it's just really one word of 4 syllables. And then you can break it down and say, well, but de means something and le means something. Yeah, but together means just like hi. So the tse, this little dot, helps us to divide the syllables. Okay? In English, we have space, right? But in West Chinese, we don't write space. We just write the tse, the dot. And then we have this line, this like stroke, which is a little longer. This is called she. This is saying like this is a period. Like in English, you can write like just a period. When you finish like a sentence or something, you just do this. In West Chinese, we write a line that is indicating that the idea is finishing there. This is like the whole idea. Cool? Actually, we can practice a little bit with this. Okay. Wait. So here we have the Uchen. here we have the transliteration. It is exactly the same. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the pronunciation. We have three different things, and this will be very helpful if you are attending these classes with Geshe Michael. It'll be very helpful if you can like differentiate these three things. How would you write it? This is original. This is Uchen. This is transliteration. And this is pronunciation. I'm not sure if in English you will write it like this. I don't remember how. Maybe like this. Anyway, pronunciation changes from language to language. In Spanish, I would write it like this. So it's different. But the point is that one thing is pronunciation, another thing is transliteration, and another thing is the original language. In this case, West Chinese, the Uchen. And you have to be aware of these little, well, not little, like big differences. Because from the pronunciation, you cannot recreate the original language. You are losing a lot of information in this one. But with the transliteration, you are writing, you are like putting here each bit of information that you have here. We have the pa, we have the pa. We have the ka and the ra, we have them. We have a se, a little dot here, we have it. We have a space in the transliteration. So this space in transliteration is reflecting a tse in the original language. We have a sha with a giku, we have it. A sa as a suffix, we have it here. Another tse, another space. Pa, ta, tembu. Se, space. La, tembu, le, ka, sa, le. And then we have a she. And we have a comma. So from here, from the transliteration, you can recreate exactly 100% the original language. So that's what we are doing. We are working with the actual books. We are not working with pronunciation because from these you cannot recreate 100% the original language, right? We have a, what is this, a D? I don't see a ta here. So that's it. I cannot go back to the original language. I have the she, and of course I'm not writing the sa, because if I write this, I will say she's. But I'm writing pronunciation, so I have to delete one sa. So from here, I'm losing information from the original, right? So you have to be very aware that one is pronunciation, which is not reflecting the original language, and another one is transliteration, which is the perfect, how to say, yeah, is reflecting each bit of information of the original language. So you can go back and forth without losing any bit of information. And you have to be aware of that. And we don't work with pronunciation in class, really. We work mainly with transliteration. Okay? Now, okay, we can practice a little bit. Let me just open something. What would be good? Okay. More questions?
Sorry, one more question. The vowels can be
Yeah.
on the top and the bottom, right? Either the top or the
Yeah.
bottoms.
Shabkyu goes on the bottom, Giku goes on top, Trembu goes on top, and Naro goes on top. So only Shabkyu goes on the bottom, which is the example that we saw. Sorry, I'm opening it. I will. Okay. I wasn't prepared really for this class. Well, I was, but not for making you suffer by reading. Okay. Okay, we don't have much time. Well, maybe we have 15 minutes is enough to embarrass someone. So you're going to be the first one, Gillihan. So the point is not to read perfect. What I do is just do things, and I think that's also like what I've been learning from Geshe is like, you want to translate? Okay, then start translating, you know? Don't worry much about like studying how to, but start doing it. And I think that's a very good thing to learn things like just you want to play, start to play. You want to dance, start to dance, you know? Just like start doing it. So I know you want to read West Chinese, Kilihan, so let's start reading, okay? But focus more on the vowels and try to identify them. Just try to identify them, not worry much about it, okay?
Okay,
So,
pardon me first because I'm coughing recently, so my pronunciation might not be very good.
oh, maybe that'll make it more interesting. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. Share. I just try share. Rap. Share. Chen. Ho.
And then E,
E.
Chempoi.
Chempoi.
Yeah, so far, perfect.
Cho.
Chop.
Cho. Yo.
Yeah, cure.
Sorry.
Cure.
Q.
With a ral at the end. Cure.
Q.
Yeah.
Sha.
Sha.
Sha. Ri. E.
Ri.
Bu.
Yeah, this is like ri.
Ri.
Mm.
Bu.
Poo. Yeah.
Zap. Do.
Tun.
Dun.
Yeah.
Ri.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a sound.
Rare.
Yeah, trell.
Dra.
With more la, trell.
Sorry.
A little more la sound at the end. Trell.
Trail.
Yeah. This is a hard one. I'm sorry. You can try. Te.
Te.
Yeah. You never pronounce the ta at the end or the sa. Every time you see a sa at the end of the syllable, or a ta, a di, or an s, you don't pronounce them. Okay?
Okay.
Then, well, this goes together. This is one word. These two syllables are making one word.
Gu. Sa.
Luchup.
Sorry?
Luchup.
Luchup.
Yeah, nice, nice. Oh, this is hard.
Lapa.
Ndawa.
Bawa.
Nda.
Da.
Wa. This is wa.
Wa.
Yeah, ndawa.
Dawa.
Yeah, yeah. Dawa karere. What's dawa? Does anybody know what's dawa?
Moon?
Yeah. Nice, Elba. Moon. How do you say in Russian? Luna. Where's Marina? Right, Marina? Luna, like in Spanish.
Yes, Luna.
Luna, yeah.
Yes.
And then we have
Ra.
nice. Tak.
Tak.
Tak. Yeah.
Dap.
Yeah.
Yep. Pap.
Yelwa.
Yewa.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's wa again.
Yeah, the wa.
Ni. Pa.
Perfect.
Yep. Ra.
When you have a sa and a ra, you just say the sa.
Sa.
Se.
Se.
Yeah, maybe because we haven't talked about rules. This is like nonsense for you. You're like, why this is se? But believe me, your mind is like catching a lot of information, even if you are not like totally conscious about the rules. Your mind is starting to read, because in the end, that's the way you started reading Chinese when you were a kid. You know, you were reading and reading until you got to the point that your mind was just reading, you know, and you weren't making mistakes. So we are doing the same here. You are getting used to this and to the sounds, and something is happening. Okay.
La. Tu.
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 Yeah.
Ne.
Nice.
Sha. Yin.
Share.
She.
And
Yin.
every time you see a pa, this is second column, right? Pa. With a ya, this is a yatak, the Y, you have to change it to cha.
Cha.
Yeah, so what do you think this is the sound? The sound of this one. Chin.
Chin.
Yeah. So this goes together. Searching.
Searching.
Yeah. This one, you can forget a little bit about this one. Just focus on this one.
Nin.
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 Nimpo.
Nimpo.
And with this one?
Yi.
Nimpoi.
Nimpoi.
Yeah.
Nam.
Mm-hmm.
Shat.
She.
She.
Nice.
Vipa.
Chiwa.
Yeah. Jiwa.
Cha.
Cha.
Yeah. Nice. Very good work, Gilligan. Thank you for suffering with me.
Thank you. Thank you for teaching us.
Oh, well, I saw someone. Elva, do you want to read? Oh, she left. I have time for one more victim. Oh, well, I see. I'm sorry for saying your name wrong. Tu Hien Ding.
Yes,
Do you want to read?
yes, I try.
Okay. I'm feeling that you know how to read already, right?
Not yet. Thi la khum
Sum.
sum.
Let me do it a little bigger.
Yeah. Chia
Nice.
sharp moi
Savmoy.
sharp moi. Dun la
Well, you can say this one.
Chúc
Juk.
chúc.
Yeah.
Go
Gu.
gu.
Remember I said we have 5 vowels, a, I, e, u, o. Those are like the main sounds, but also we have like 2 more sounds, maybe a little more. This is one of those sounds. This is not go, this is gu. So your mouth has to change. You have to say gu.
Yeah. Gu.
Yeah, this is like a no sound. The sound is in between the o and the u, like gu.
Pa
Par.
pa pa
Yeah, par.
pa. Ten pa.
Perfect.
Cap
Kapki.
happy.
Yeah,
Sum
perfect.
dun. Shepa
What if you try to say Kapki Shuntun Shepa?
kapke sungtun sepa.
Perfect.
Sabdun
Sab. Sabtun.
sabdun. Rikpe
Perfect.
tenla
This goes together. This is a word of 3 syllables. Tenlambep.
tenlape.
Yeah, this is a little hard because you have a pre-nasal here. So it is like lambep.
Tenlampe
Nice.
sundo
Dor.
do. Tu
Do.
do.
Mm,
Shepao
Perfect. Shepao.
Shepao. Thank
Very
you.
nice. Thank you. So, we don't have time for another victim, but don't worry, we have more weeks to come. So thank you very much. I'm going to share this little chart with you in the chat. If you want it, you can download it from the chat. So yeah, Heart Sutra. Let me share it here. Thank you for your effort and for your time. Wait, let me think. Maybe I shouldn't share this file. I have to check it. I have to be sure that I can share it. So if you want this file, bother Marina, or bother me, or bother Tim, or someone, okay? I have to check. I have to be sure that we can share this file with you, okay? I don't want to get in trouble. So thank you very much for your time and see you next week. Yela Jeyong.
Sorry, Teacher
Thank
Oscar. We
you.
do have a group chat, as in we can welcome everyone to join. Then if you want to share the file, you can share it inside.
Oh, okay.
I shall share the link inside the group.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I can share it there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Oscar. Bye. Thank you.
Gracias, Marina. Thanks.